Hello and welcome to Living Well, your show for healthy information and inspiration. I'm your host, Karen Fabian, and thank you so much for watching. We've got a fun and interesting show for you today. I have a panel with me of 3 health and wellness experts, and we're going to be talking about just some really broad topics around health and wellness, things that everyone can really relate to in terms of some of the challenges that we're facing and what we can do just to feel better in our bodies and minds. I'd like to thank the show's major sponsor, Yoga Reaches Out, which is an amazing nonprofit that raises money for children's charities by hosting yoga events around the country. And I'd also like to thank my friends at Zoomies Coffee for being a sponsor of the show as well. If you're watching the show on the Boston Neighborhood Network, thank you so much for watching. After every show, I post it on my YouTube channel, Bare Bones Yoga, so you can catch this show as well as prior shows on that station as well. So let's get started with the show. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So I'd like to introduce you to my guests. The first guest that we have is Lindsay Kuhl. Hi, Lindsay. How are you?
Hi there. Good, thank you.
Lindsay is an acupuncturist and a practitioner of Chinese medicine. And next we have Erin Tomasek. Hi. Erin is a physical therapist. And Christie Rosen is here. Hi, Christie.
Hi.
Christie is a wellness coach and a yoga teacher. So we're going to kind of go down the line. I'm going to start with each one of you individually. We'll have kind of an opportunity to talk one-on-one, and then we'll take a break and we'll come back and we'll have a bit of a roundtable conversation. So let me go into a little more detail for our viewers about your background. Lindsay has her BS in nursing from Northeastern and has worked as a travel nurse for several years in various ICUs throughout the country, eventually circling back to her hometown in Boston. She works at Mass General in the cardiac ICU, and acupuncture came to her at a time where she was feeling frustrated with the severity of illness that she was seeing in her patients as a nurse, and she wanted to do something that would allow her to intervene before they got to a severity point in their illness. And it was also the profound experience of a close family member who had acupuncture to treat neck pain that stuck with her. For these reasons, she decided to pursue a master's degree in acupuncture and oriental medicine from the New England School of Acupuncture. So, welcome, welcome.
Thanks.
So when I heard about your background, I was fascinated by it because it's such a blend of both Eastern medicine and Western medicine. So talk a little bit about how you got, I mean, we shared a little bit, but a little bit more about that.
Sure. During my time as a travel nurse, I lived for a while in Austin, and Austin is a really unique place where people really share a holistic attitude, and it was something that was new to me. I did a lot of learning during that time in my life about how to use nutrition to heal the body, and sort of started breaking into these more alternative modalities. And that coincided with a move back to Boston and a family member who had been struggling with really debilitating neck pain. And as it turns out, acupuncture was the only thing that helped him. So sort of it was a right place, right time kind of thing, and I made the decision to go back to school for acupuncture.
Yeah, so you kind of straddle both worlds because you work in both areas.
Yes.
So you kind of bring the best of both disciplines to your patients.
Yes, yes, I really enjoy using the strengths of Western medicine and then the strengths of Eastern medicine to help my patients, because I think there are benefits to both.
Yeah.
And I very much enjoy taking that to my patients.
That's great. And how do the patients respond?
They love it, I think.
Yeah.
I think they love it, because some people, you know, approach my practice and they're not quite sure if acupuncture is for them. They're not quite sure if they believe in acupuncture. That's something I hear a lot. Yeah, people are fearful of needles, and I think bringing the Western background, you know, to people who are more Western-minded lends it a little bit more clarity, and I think they do appreciate that.
Might be a little more comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Excellent. So let's take a moment and speak to Erin. So Erin has earned her master's degree in physical therapy in 1997 from Springfield College, and she has practiced in orthopedics and sports medicine in Georgia and Massachusetts for 19 years. Since 2004, Erin has been a clinical manager and a physical therapist in a private orthopedic practice, a number of them in Boston, where she was active in the community training for charity runners in preparation for the Boston Boston Marathon, yay. And Erin, interesting, I know this is from personal conversations we've had, she's also a Titleist Performance Institute certified trainer, a level 3 medical professional is what it's called, to assess golfers' physical limitations. So that's a really cool blend of PT and kind of in practice of golf. And you're also a certified strength and conditioning specialist, and recently became an orthopedic certified specialist by the American Board of Physical Therapy Specialties. So physical therapy, obviously that's your focus. You're dealing with a wide range of conditions, I would imagine, both, you know, somebody gets hurt versus somebody just kind of comes with just a pain in the body they're unsure of. Can you talk a little bit about things that are related to people might show up because of habitual things they're doing that aren't so great versus I was in a car accident or I fell type of thing?
So a lot of people come for, literally we treat things from headaches to issues with your feet, head to toe. A lot of things that we treat are just, we're movement specialists, just like anybody else in the field. We see how people move every day, and people have these dysfunctions in their movement. And then maybe they're sitting, or they're in prolonged positions, or you're in a prolonged position all day, and then all of a sudden you go do your activity very quickly. So you're asking your body to adjust so quickly to a static position and then dynamic. So you see people with different sort of injuries in that facet. You know, your body doesn't want to be in position too long, but you can't all of a sudden go outside or go anywhere and start to practice something hard. So I think we get a lot of weekend warrior people where maybe we don't, you know, I still play field hockey. Maybe I play once a week though, so it's so different. If you don't go and you don't properly warm up, you're kind of shocking your tissue and joints in different ways. So we do see a lot of different, you know, mostly I do orthopedic sports medicine, but what we see a lot too is that the most risk for injury is if you've already had a previous injury.
So you're more vulnerable.
So you're more
area.
vulnerable. Like there's a good, you know, an example, like you have a chronic ankle sprain. Say you played basketball as a kid or whatever, and you kept rolling your ankle. So now you have this chronic instability. You know, research will say, well, if you're not stable there, there's something called like regional independence, where even though my issues here, I might have something, a dysfunction somewhere else. My glute, research will say your glute can't fire as well when you're unstable there. So if you don't address those issues early when you have an injury, even if it's years back, your body finds a way to move, because that's what we do all day. And that can affect and precursor you to having other areas of, as anyone would say, like yoga teachers see people that have asymmetries all the time. And those asymmetries can at some point build up, and you can have an insidious onset of pain, but it's because it was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Exactly. Yeah, everything's all connected.
Everything's all connected, right? Fascia, muscle, joint, how everything works together is connected, even though your area of issue might be far away from where the problem might originate from.
Right, that's so interesting. And I love what you talked about, and we'll go into this in the second half of the show in more detail, just these habitual things that we do that we don't realize.
We don't even realize
the impact, and then we try to do something healthy, like yoga or run or whatever, you know, cycle, and then we might injure ourselves, and we don't really understand the connection there. So so we'll go into that more. Okay, so let's talk to Christie. Hi, Christie. Hi. This is Christie Rosen. Christie is a wellness coach and a yoga instructor who specializes in eating psychology, mind-body healing, and stress reduction. She's the author of the upcoming book entitled Empowering the Sensitive Soul: Simple Wisdom to Improve Your Health, Cultivate Self-Acceptance, and Let Go of What is Holding You Back. Through personalized one-on-one coaching, Christie helps people who are highly sensitive learn to deeply care for themselves so they can thrive in this busy world. She also runs a seasonal 10-day cleanse to help her clients experience the benefits of clean living. That sounds fabulous. I think I need to sign up for that. Maybe I need 30 days though. So this was so interesting to me, this whole idea of eating psychology and people who are sensitive. So talk about that. What does that mean? Who are these folks? How do they show up to you?
Absolutely. So a little bit of my own background with this. I've always been a highly sensitive person, and that can be defined in a number of ways. For example, sensitive to foods, sensitive to chemicals in the environment, sensitive to stress. And not just your own stress, but the stress of the city or the stress of others in your life. And so as a sensitive person, I felt a sense of weakness because I didn't really see other people struggling with those same things. And that actually led me to develop some chronic health issues because I felt disempowered, like anxiety, digestive issues, which are always highly linked to anxiety, as well as fatigue. And so in my own journey to help heal myself, I learned a lot about holistic health, and I experimented with acupuncture, physical therapy, went to a chiropractor, became a yoga instructor, changed my diet, and all of these things provided a sense of strength that I didn't know I had. So now I feel like I can really resonate with someone who feels a little bit more sensitive than others to the world in a variety of reasons. And I'm really excited that my work is able to take these sensitive people who are compassionate and kind and to help them feel also strong and also healthy. So that's kind of how I came into it.
Yeah, that's so interesting. I think when it comes from a personal place, I mean, you've all kind of shared a little bit about your own pathways to where you've ended up, that you can certainly relate to the people that come to you. So you see people one-on-one for issues like this? Is that how? Okay.
Yeah. I see people one-on-one through my coaching, and I've seen a wide variety of people over the years, but I felt that the people that I could make the most impact with were the ones that I understood the most through having been through the same thing. So that's why I've decided to tailor my work to more sensitive people, and that's why my book is also about helping to empower sensitive people.
And when does the book come out?
It should be out before the end of September.
Okay, we're not putting any pressure on you, but we're eagerly
It's pretty much done. Last little things to do.
Okay, excellent. All right, so let's take a break, and we're going to come back, and when we come back, we're going to have a group discussion about a couple of different interesting topics, so stay tuned.
Hey, Hard, what's this?
That's my resignation letter.
You're resigning.
Why? Because you're constantly ignoring me. You're half as active as you used to be, and you get stuff like this. You've been putting me under a lot of pressure lately. That's why I'm ready to quit.
I forgot. I'll do better. Please, don't quit on me.
Okay, but remember, it's not what you say, it's what you do.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you.
Let's go for a walk.
Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
All right, so we are back. Welcome back. So, you know, we have you all here, and I wanted to just pose some general questions and get each of your individual takes on these general questions. And, you know, we talked a little bit before, and I mean, certainly you can come at it from your own experiences as practitioners in your different areas of expertise. And, you know, I tried to just pick just general things that our viewers could relate to. So I wanted to start out with just that feeling that a lot of people have when they get up in the morning and they just don't feel so hot. Maybe they bend down to get the dog bowl and they're like, oh, my back hurts, or they feel stiff, they feel kind of out of sorts. And in general, when maybe you see patients like this in your practice, people like this in your practice, what advice would you have, or what techniques would you have for people that might just get up and just not feel so good first thing?
Well, I'd say to that, it depends on what level of not feeling so good they're experiencing. And if it's someone that really truly is just a little bit uncomfortable for a little while after they're getting out of bed and moving around and they do feel stiff, my advice to them would be to try to incorporate a little bit more movement into their day. But if someone's actually having pain, back pain, you know, neck tension, things of that nature, I would certainly recommend they come in for an acupuncture treatment. It certainly is very good at helping to release muscles that are very tense and can no longer release on their own. Patients can get a lot of relief from that.
Now, actually, just give us a snippet of, I know for people who are watching who maybe do have a fear of needles, they know acupuncture involves needles. Can you talk a little bit about that? What happens when they come in for treatment, and does it hurt?
Absolutely. This is probably the most common question that I get. And I can assure everybody that if it was that uncomfortable, acupuncture wouldn't be thriving in this country. It's a completely normal worry. I think if you perhaps don't have a fear of needles or prefer needles, there's something wrong with you. Something, you know, something else to be considered there. So, you know, what I share with my patients is that the acupuncture needles we use are really not very much bigger than a human hair. And for the most part, you don't really feel them being inserted. It certainly is not a sharp, uncomfortable experience.
And the concept is that it is...
So what we're doing with the acupuncture needles is actually manipulating electricity in people's bodies. And some practitioners use the word chi. We also use the word energy. I prefer to use the word electricity because I think it's something that our Western minds can wrap around.
Okay.
We're 90% composed of water, which is a very conductive substance. And then needles are made out of metal, which is also a very conductive substance, various metals. And so when you put these in strategic points in the body, it helps open blockages, release muscles, fix all sorts of issues.
Okay, okay. So I like that distinction between just not feeling so hot versus something specific. So that's something that someone watching might need to be making, or go to somebody to help.
Certainly if someone's feeling stiff and they're not really feeling as wonderful as they'd like, they're more than welcome to come in for a treatment. But unfortunately in this country, a lot of times acupuncture can be cost prohibitive for people.
Got it, got it. So how about yourself? Is this something that someone might come to you with?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of times I assess like, what are you doing like throughout your day, and then how are you sleeping at night? What's your bed like? Little simple things like that, your sleeping patterns, you know, simply putting a pillow between your legs that aligns your hip and back better. What kind of pillow? How many pillows are you using at night? Are you using your device in your bed at night so you fall asleep in the position of that you're watching TV?
Right.
Things like that. So sort of maybe look at what they're doing in there. I'll have the significant others perhaps take a picture and say, what do you look like when you're in bed? Unloaded, gravity eliminated, and see like what your postures are. Because sometimes just, I know it's hard, people might move all over the place, so maybe making minor adjustments that way, putting your body in a better alignment and its rest position is helpful. And then just like anything like with yoga, like you would say, you shouldn't shoot right out of bed.
Right.
Like
give your
body a minute. Maybe do a couple of active movements slowly. Maybe do a couple of gentle stretches if you know you already have an area of immobility or stiffness. And then use, I always do a lot of body mechanic training. How do you get out of bed? Do you just whip your body right up, or do you roll to your side and allow your body to adjust to the loads of gravity? So it's sort of, I do a lot of education with my patients just to, when they get up in the morning, because if we have arthritis, things like that, if our joint fluid and our blood flow is not happening because we've been resting all night, I mean, it's happening, but not to the degree of activity, what can we do to start to get it going so that when we transition into our upright position, it's not as awful, or we go to squat down?
Right.
So many of what we do is wrong in our every daily sort of activity because we don't know what we're doing. Right. Right. And we just like quickly do things. So are we mindful of where our positions are in our bodies?
Right. I would think too, for viewers who are older or viewers who have parents that are older, these issues of just getting out of bed and all that is where problems can really happen.
Yeah. Even your balance, like if you get up too quickly, maybe your blood pressure drops a little, or, these little things that if you already have these sort of preconditioned issues medically, like how should you be doing that so you don't lose your balance when you stand up?
Right.
That's more for the advanced people that might have issues, like medical issues, but something we need to think about before we start moving, so you're not at risk for something.
Okay. Now, Christie, I know you have both this balance of wellness coach and yoga teaching, so you might see people with this kind of issue, maybe a student's coming to you saying, I don't feel so great when I get up in the morning, what are some stretches I can do, or even the sensitive eating folks, anything that comes to mind?
Absolutely. So definitely echoing what Erin said about being mindful in your body. I see a lot of injuries occur through yoga in transitions at times when people really aren't paying as much attention. So if you're not really familiar, what is being mindful in your body, what is being present, you can try yoga and learn more about that, but it really means paying attention. Paying attention to how you're moving. And definitely also what she said about the sleep. If you're feeling stiff in the morning, you likely were not sleeping in the proper position. Especially I find that people who sleep on their stomachs will have neck and back pain, and if you find that same thing. So, and I had experienced that myself too, and I used to wake up on my stomach and think, oh, it's so nice here, I'll just go back to sleep. But I say, nope, you gotta sleep on your side or your back, and putting that pillow between your knees and getting a nice mattress, those things can make a really big impact. And for people, I think part of the question too was, oh, if you haven't been exercising that much, ease your way into it. Instead of going to hot power yoga and running 10 miles, go to gentle restorative yoga, go for a walk. Walking is a wonderful form of exercise. I think people don't give it a lot of credit, but if you walk for an hour a day, you're going to be feeling really good mentally and physically. So really taking your time and being mindful of what you're doing and not forcing yourself to do a movement practice. A lot of people punish themselves. They say, oh, I ate this, or I didn't work out for 2 weeks. I'm just going to punish myself and do the hardest workout possible, and that just never serves you.
Yeah. Not a lot of compassion in that for the body. Yeah.
Not at all.
So let's transition. When you just said something about mindfulness, it kind of got me thinking about the next topic I wanted to throw out to the group, and that has to do with just the presence, the ever-present technology in our lives, and you know, whether it's the cell phone or the computer or just this constant stream of information from all these different sources. That has got to be taking a toll on people. I mean, whether they're aware of it or not. So do you see the impact of that? I mean, how are people presenting to you with this kind of thing?
Absolutely. I think there's a lot of impacts, both mentally and physically. Stress, I think, is the main impact, because we've lost our ability to just sit and be and feel comfortable in our bodies without needing to check our phones or go check our emails 17 times a day. You know, it's so healing to just relax, and it's really the antidote to stress is relaxation, but it's not given as much importance, I think, in our culture. So that is something I see really people feeling, especially these highly sensitive type people that I work with. They get overstimulated even more easily than the average person. So that is definitely a concern. And there's a lot of physical issues that I see. Text neck, looking down, texting, or just sitting at the computer all day. I'm sure everybody's seeing these things. You think, okay, once or twice it's fine, but over time it makes a dramatic impact on the health of your spine and your physical well-being. Yeah,
actually that might be a good lead-in for yourself. I mean, sometimes I wonder, because text neck is something that at one point my Facebook feed was filled, like every other post was like the picture of the person with the jutting out. So, and sometimes I get a little skeptical, like, is this really medical fact, or is this just somebody that wants us to click on their post? So can you talk a little bit about looking down at the phone? And
sure, just think of anything your muscles are going to end up to that position, right? So if your head's here, you're getting shortened muscles where they shouldn't be shortened, and you're hanging on maybe your ligaments. You're not using active muscles to hold you against, you know, gravity or whatnot.
Right.
So the shortening. So as soon as you create tight structures in your muscle or your fascia, now it's going to compress. A lot of things are two joint muscles, right? So now you're going to have compression at your joints. So it's just it's sort of the domino effect of what happens. And again, like you're sitting for a long period of time. If we're sitting, our hip flexors get short, our hamstrings are short. You know, I'm seeing a lot more, you know, younger kids even before adolescence, because they're going to school all day.
Frightening.
And then they're on their device or their whatever, the computer, and then all of a sudden they're going out and playing hard sports for 2 hours. Like, there's no balance of movement in people's everyday. So you're seeing these kids maybe having poor postures, and maybe even during their growth spurts, now they're even in a worse off position because their muscle, they're not getting that length that they need, that movement that they need, and then that transition to sports. Because if you're not moving right in your everyday, like when you squat down to pick something up, I can assure you, you're not doing it properly on the field or wherever. So anything where, you know, you'll see anyone with their devices down low, you have to make those postural changes. Like, maybe I use my eyes more and I look down. Use your downward gaze, or stack some pillows up, or rest so you're getting your shoulders back and just keeping things at rest. So you're seeing, you know, your discs are really at risk in a forward head position. You know,
so this is all legit.
Sure, if your head's here, everything's going to follow.
Good to know. So acupuncture, is this something that potentially could address some of these issues? Do you see folks coming in saying, my neck is killing me, type of thing?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think a large amount of the population struggles with neck pain, neck tension. A lot of people, not only are they on their devices for a large part of the day, causing them to lean forward, but they just carry the stress of their lives in this particular part of their body. And acupuncture can absolutely be really helpful at alleviating some of that.
So it's really the physical as well as kind of the energetic or mindful mental aspect.
Yes, you know, the other aspect of this constant influx of technology in our lives is what I see in my patients is that they are starting to lose awareness of their own bodies because they're checked out on their devices. I'm guilty of it too. And they don't pay attention to smaller signs and symptoms of things that could sort of prevent leading to larger issues.
Right.
And so it's not until, we have really, really bad neck pain or, sort of terrible digestive issues that patients will seek help. And our body will send us signs before these things really break down in this way. But because we're so checked out, we don't take the time to be quiet and pay attention to our bodies because we're on our devices.
Right.
Then these signs are ignored.
Right. The body is calling, but no one's listening.
Exactly. We're too busy to listen.
We're too busy to listen. Before we wrap up, I want to give our viewers a chance, and we'll show it on the screen too, but just speak a little bit about if people want to see each one of you individually, how do they find you? So maybe you can talk about that.
Absolutely. So all of my services are on my website, which is ChristieRosen.com.
Right.
And I work with people in a few different ways, one being personalized wellness coaching, and then it is tailored towards sensitive people, but really anybody who wants to have someone to support them in making positive changes in their life. And I lead a 10-day cleanse, which is seasonal, but you can also do it with me one-on-one. So if you feel like you really want to experience the benefits of clean eating, that's a great option. And my book hopefully will be out in the next few weeks, and that's a nice way to just get out into the world in a little more of a broad, easier, accessible way for people to learn more about what I do.
Okay, excellent. And Erin?
Sure, I work for a small physical therapy practice in Swansea, Mass.
Okay,
southern. Yeah, so I'm a little bit, southern, southeastern Mass.
And we're showing people the website on the screen.
Yes,
there.
and the website is great. We also offer, and it's physical therapy. We also offer, we're getting into the community and doing things to educate for free, like the community, like an hour or two class about maybe back pain and what you can do for it. One of my colleagues just had said, like hacking the squat, like can you squat right? Why aren't you squatting right? Here are some things to do, and all that stuff is on our website.
Great.
Just
for resources.
Just for resources, absolutely. And you can always email me too. My information is on there if people have questions. And I've been in the area for a long time, so I have a lot of colleagues that work locally in Boston. I can always refer to different specialists if someone needs something more local.
Okay, awesome. And then yourself?
Yes, absolutely. So I have an office, a private practice in Back Bay.
Okay.
And people can feel free to reach out to me via my website. There's contact information on there, and I'm more than happy to answer anybody's questions. If they think they may know someone that needs acupuncture, they may benefit. I love having those conversations with people.
Okay, and we're showing the website name. It's lindsaycoolacupuncture.com.
Yes, the website is Acupuncture. Yes.
Acupuncture.com.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. All right, well, thank you so much. My head is swimming with all this excellent information, and I really appreciate you coming on the show. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so stay tuned. We're going to come back and wrap up the show. Be right back. Thank you so much for watching our show. If you have any comments or feedback, please go on Twitter and send a note using the hashtag LivingWellBNN. And remember, you can catch this episode and past episodes on my YouTube channel, Bare Bones Yoga. Enjoy and live well.